The Indian education sector provides a tremendous opportunity and indeed a number of challenges.
Because I think it's very important to get on and focus on this question, which I think we in our efforts to see where India and the UK can collaborate on education, sometimes lose sight of the fact that it is in many ways self-evident that India should be aiming at global leadership in the education space. I think we know that India is a long way from fulfilling its extraordinary potential in this space, and it is an extremely helpful context for looking at Indo-British collaboration to look forward to the day when India does take its place as a global leader and see the UK's role as a partner in that ascent, as of course one of the other great centres of world learning.
Education and skills is the single most important priority sector for the UK-India Business Council. We identified really with both governments and with our business partners in India some years ago a number of sectors in which we needed to focus our efforts. Education and skills, particularly vocational skills, was one of those, but actually it's the fastest growing, it's the one in which there is really the greatest interest, and by definition it crosses every other sector, manufacturing, digital economy, healthcare and life sciences and so on, in which we are also engaged. Three questions which I must say I'm finding the conversations increasingly focused on. One is, how do you combine the quality on which we rightly pride ourselves and which Indians are seeking? How do you combine that with the price points that Indians are willing to pay for? It's been a huge struggle for many of the providers that we've been working with over some years now. Part of the answer, of course, lies in the scale that India needs.
We're talking about helping India to become the innovative, entrepreneurial, leading country and economy that everybody wants it to be. But to achieve those targets, as I said, there is going to need to be some sort of dependency on the international market, not just for education, insight and IP, but also, as you say, for funding and for support as well. And I think some of the initiatives that the government at a national level is pushing forward with at the moment, opening up the market, enabling for-profit, making it a little bit easier for international and overseas institutions to come into the market and to do things differently is really important. But again, a common theme, I think, of the last 12 hours has been strategic partnerships and collaboration. And I think they're at the heart of what's needed, and I think that will really be the thing that drives and builds increased competition in that market that will in itself, I think, start to raise standards and raise quality, and also give some choice to businesses and to individuals as they look at how they're going to set themselves or their workforces up in the future.
And we have seen the difference at a point where we had to literally start thinking upside down. The education system is the framework which makes you think in a way you're thinking. And when you come from one education system to another one, you literally sometimes have to dismantle it and start thinking in a completely different direction.
I don't know exactly where the plans are for the Foreign Education Providers Regulation. I know that looking at, for example, at the MHRD press release, this is very welcome progress, but there are some things that could potentially be limiting how much impact it could have. So, for example, were India to restrict itself to only 400 institutions in global league tables, it could potentially be denying itself access to partners with real specialist expertise that could contribute really significantly, but that don't happen to feature in the particular kind of metrics which are available in order to make global rankings. And even though the UK does exceptionally well on these and punches well above our weight, I would still take any particular placing on a ranking with a certain degree of salt. If there are going to be opportunities for overseas universities, not just from the UK, to set up in India, I think that there may be still challenges to offering the kind of quality that they would want to provide internationally, including, for example, getting greater clarification on the recognition of qualifications. But I think the wider UK relationship matters not just because of the scale, but because of the mutual benefit. I think, as Laura said, education is the second largest market in the world, and higher education is only a part of that, but it's absolutely vital to the UK.